Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back to It's Not a Podcast. It's just my thoughts with Rob Markman. Shout out to everybody who likes, subscribe, who watches, who comments, who just engages with the channel overall. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Today is going to be a little bit different. I want to talk about something a little heavy, a little more serious, something with a little more consequence than just the music topics we typically talk about. But it's still music related. I've been wanting to speak about this for a couple of weeks now. I've been following this story. Got to talk about Kehlani. I think Kehlani is being treated unfairly, and it's something that, like I said, I've been wanting to speak about for a couple of weeks now, and I've just been kind of trying to wrap my head around it and where I stood. And well, I knew where I stood, but how I wanted to deliver this message. So here's the story. Kehlani was booked and scheduled to perform at Cornell University today on May 7th. So they were supposed to perform today. It was for the school's annual Slope Day. It's a celebration celebrating the last day of classes, and Kehlani was scheduled to perform. 2 weeks ago, the invite was rescinded, and Kehlani's performance was officially canceled. Cornell President Michael Kotlikoff, I think I pronounced that right, sorry if I got that wrong, sent the email to students and faculty, according to the New York Times, and it read, "The selection of Kehlani as this year's headliner has injected division and discord. In the days since Kehlani was announced, I have heard grave concerns from our community that many are angry, hurt, and confused that Slope Day would feature a performer who has espoused anti-Semitic, anti-Israel sentiments in performances, videos, and on social media." So I want to get into this. We're going there today. I wonder, and this is truly a question, if you watch the broader news, how much of this is tied to the Trump administration's threats to withhold federal funding from colleges over political ideologies on campus, and how the universities and schools deal with the protests and the different student groups and unions and all of that. Again, we see this, battle going on currently with Columbia University and the administration and this a whole thing over funding and will the government pull funding. In Columbia is where students protested. Students protested in so many campuses, but there was so much focus. There was so much protests. And I don't know if I want to say Columbia University was a ground zero, but it was a focal point of the protests where students protested against the war in Gaza. You know what I'm saying? And now they're in battle against the government, the Trump administration, over funding they're you see it in the news. If you see the news, Trump's administration is threatening to withhold funding from college campuses if they don't get this under quote unquote control, right? Sorry about that. So regardless of if there's pressure or not, I asked the question because I truly don't know how much this relates. I'd imagine it does. My gut tells me it does. But Cornell president is wrong for this. He's absolutely wrong for labeling. First of all, wrong for canceling the performance. But you know what I'm saying? That's another thing. But absolutely wrong. I think a dangerous offense here is not just the canceling of the performances, is labeling Kehlani's actions as anti-Semitic. How much of this comes from pressure? The White House, I truly don't know, but labeling her outspokenness of support of Palestine and Gaza and the people, and her anti-Israel sentiment as anti-Semitic is dangerous, and we're going to talk about why. But also this week, another Kehlani concert in New York City Central Park scheduled for, it was a Pride event on June 26th. So that was scheduled, and that's been canceled. That got canceled this week. This time, the mayor's office is citing security concerns as to why they canceled it. I'll get to that in a bit. I want to get into a little bit on Saturday, on April 26th, Kehlani uploaded a video to Instagram. This was in response. This was after Cornell canceled the show. And I'll play the video, but she says a little bit. I'm being asked and called to clarify and make a statement yet again for the millionth time that I am not anti-Semitic nor anti-Jew. I'm anti-genocide. I'm anti the actions of the Israeli government. I'm anti an extermination of entire people. I'm anti the bombing of innocent children, men and women. That's what I'm anti. We're going to play the video right here.
I am being asked and called to clarify and make a statement yet again for the millionth time that I am not anti-Semitic nor anti-Jew. I am anti-genocide. I am anti the actions of the Israeli government. I am anti an extermination of an entire people. I'm anti the bombing of innocent children, men, women. That's what I'm anti. In fact, the very first live that I did in the beginning of this genocide was with a really beautiful Jewish organization called Jewish Voices for Peace. And I still continue to learn from and work alongside really impactful Jewish organizers against this genocide. I want to be very clear in stating that I do believe God has plans for me, and that's not going to stop nothing that I have going on. But I'm asked to clarify because this keeps coming up as a means to silence me, as a means to stop things that happen in my career, as a means to change the course of my life. And I just don't believe that. So here's the clarification that you needed. I hope this is everything you needed straight from my mouth, not a written statement with a white background from my notes. This is straight from me. You can see my face saying it. So here you go.
All right, so you see the video, you see it coming from her directly, right? And also in the caption of this post, she wrote something that I thought was very important. She said, "If you want to cancel me from opportunity, stand on it being because of your Zionism. Don't make it anti-Jew. This is a played out game. All this because we want people to stop dying." So here are my thoughts, and I just want to be clear on my position here. I think it's disgusting to conflate Kehlani's support for Palestine, for the Palestinian people, Kehlani's condemnation of Zionism, which is a political and ideological movement. Sometimes these words be kicking my ass, but Kehlani's condemnation for the politics of Israel and the state's position in this conflict with Palestine, Kehlani's condemnation of genocide, the mass murders of Palestinian people. It's disgusting to take all of that and conflate it and label it as anti-Semitism. And we see, this is a broad thing. It's not just Kehlani that they're doing this to. Is that if you oppose Israel, if you oppose the politics of what's going on, if you oppose Zionism, if you support the rights of the Palestinian people, then you're labeled anti-Semitic. It's disingenuous, it's disgusting, it's unfair. What she's done particularly is taking a humanitarian stance, right? And in his statement, the president of Cornell has taken that humanitarian stance and misrepresented it as hate, prejudice, bigotry. And, it's used as a weapon. It's done to scare people from speaking out in support of the Palestinian people. And could be harmful to, when you deal with real anti-Semitism, which does exist. You know what I'm saying? But this isn't that. My man Peter Rosenberg from Hot 97, shout out to Rosenberg, who is Jewish. Everybody, if you follow Peter Rosenberg, he's Jewish. He's very much proud of his heritage. He tweeted the other day in response to Ritchie Torres. Ritchie Torres is a congressman in New York City. Ritchie Torres is the guy, and I'll explain a bit later, but he was very vocal about canceling the Central Park concert even before the mayor's office did it, applying pressure. How much of it was canceled? How much, did the mayor's office make the decision because of Ritchie Torres? I don't know, but he was definitely applying pressure. So in response to Ritchie Torres, and I'll get to I'll say what Rosenberg said in response. I'm gonna do it kind of backwards, but he tweeted the other day, just because I think this point, regardless of being directed at Ritchie Torres or not, is important. And again, especially Peter Rosenberg being Jewish saying this, he says, "I'm tired of non-Jewish politicians like Ritchie Torres telling people what anti-Semitism is. Please stop intentionally confusing being anti the Israeli government with being anti-Semitic. It's disingenuous, inaccurate, and dangerous for Jewish people." So the Ritchie Torres thing, he was actively criticizing the event and Kehlani and calling for its cancellation, saying that Kehlani called for intifada revolution. And I had to look that up. Again, I'll go back to the definition of that. Let's read Ritchie Torres' tweet. He says the City Parks Foundation, funded by NYC tax dollars, is platforming Kehlani, an artist who has publicly called for an intifada revolution. If I fucked up the pronunciation, I'm sorry. And the dismantling of Israel. The second intifada, which she invokes, unleashed a wave of suicide bombings, shootings, and stabbings that murdered more than 1,000 Israelis. America's largest city has no business subsidizing or sanitizing anti-Semitism at taxpayer expense. Stop mainstreaming the extremes and inviting those who invite violence. Okay. Last year, Kehlani dropped her Next to You video, where she made a political statement in the music video. She showcased the Palestinian flag in the background. And at the end of the video, in the credits, she wrote, "We try to make a scroll honoring the names of thousands of deceased children. The list was so long that our fastest scroll at 3 minutes was illegible. The link to the casualties is provided in the description through Al Jazeera. Please take a moment to scroll at your own pace." I watched the video. Nothing about Kehlani's music video, what Ritchie Torres is saying, stop mainstreaming the extremes, and inviting those who incite violence. Nothing about this video, nothing that I've seen of what Kehlani has done has incited violence. I mean, she's talking about making a scroll honoring the names of the 1,000 deceased children, and couldn't do it at the end of her credits because it was 3 minutes long and then you couldn't even read it because of how fast it was moving. At the start of the video, and I want to get back to this, the words "Long live the Intifada" appeared on screen, right? And I'm gonna be honest. Mostly, I'm the music guy, so y'all don't see me talk about politics too much. Of course, I have my thoughts and feelings, but I'm not the most well versed, right? Like, I gotta do research on my own, so I had to look that word up. I'm like, well, what does that word mean? What does the dictionary say? And the dictionary says the Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip beginning in 1987. So it's a word directly tied to the Palestinian uprising. Now, do uprisings get violent? 100%. I'm sure you'd have to be an idiot not to, but hey, the violence is already happening. The violence is already happening. Like, we see it on the news, we see it in our timelines, we see it with the bombing, we see it with the mass amount of people being murdered, with the genocide. The violence is already happening. The violence is here. So she is supporting an uprising, a revolution. There's nothing in her video that appeared violent or hateful. In fact, it was filled with love and empathy. There was nothing in that video that I saw that felt like Jewish hate or anti-Semitism. It was the support of a people who need support, who need people to lend their voice, And even still, at what point do we say, look, the Palestinian people have a right to defend themselves? And I'm not talking about Hamas. I'm not talking about terrorist organizations. I'm not in support of any terrorists, but talking about everyday people who are dying. You know what I'm saying? Men, women, and children. I think Rosenberg makes a point that saying intentionally confusing being anti-Semitic with being anti-Israeli government is dangerous. There's Jewish people all across the world in mass who do not support the actions of the Israeli government. I told y'all, if y'all watched my Who the Fuck is Markman video a couple of days back, that my dad is Jewish. And we actually talk about this often and his feelings around it. My dad is actually like super political. I told y'all in that video, my dad is the one who taught me about Malcolm X. He's the one who taught me about the Black Panthers. Bobby Seale, Seize the Time is a book about the Panthers. Bobby Seale was a member of the Panthers. He put that book in my hand. You know what I'm saying? So this is who my dad is, and my dad is Jewish. And we talk about this often. He's super political. He doesn't support Zionism. He does not support Netanyahu. He believes what's going on in Gaza is genocide. And he's in support of the people of Palestine. Again, not Hamas, not the terrorist organization, but the people. There are organizations out there like Jewish Voice for Peace, If Not Now, is another group of American Jews who oppose Israel's actions and who stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people, saying that Palestinian safety and Jewish safety are intertwined. So none of that sounds like anti-Semitism to me at all. You know what I'm saying? So to label opposition to Zionism and Israel's attacks and genocide and to label the support of the Palestinian people, to label that anti-Semitic is nefarious. So, you know, the Kehlani thing got canceled, the Central Park thing. And, you know, it was the mayor's office who went to put a call in to cancel the Central Park concert. Here was a statement. I'm going to read the statement. It says, "We've been notified by the mayor's office that they have concerns for security and safety issues regarding the June 26th Kehlani concert produced and presented by Live Nation. Those concerns are due to controversy surrounding Cornell University's decision to cancel Kehlani's concert at the university, as well as security demands in Central Park and throughout the city for other Pride events during that same time period. We strongly and empathetically believe in artistic expression of all kinds. However, the safety and security of our guests and artists is of the utmost importance, and in light of these concerns, the concert has been canceled. Summer Stage is proud to be a platform for artists from around the world to perform and make arts accessible for all New Yorkers in their neighborhood parks. While artists may choose to express their own opinions, their views may not necessarily be representative of the festival. Summer Stage events are intended to bring together all sectors of the New York community, and we look forward to welcoming more guests throughout the summer." So that was a statement from Summer Stage, basically saying, yeah, the mayor's office put the pressure to cancel the concert because of security concerns, but that they support artistic expression. Now, whether you believe that it was canceled for security concerns or not, kind of doesn't matter. Like, I mean, it matters, but it's like the biggest offense here is that now we have an artist. Look, no matter what the reason, right? We have an artist now who has historically spoken up for human rights, and you know, not just this situation, this war in Gaza. You know, I've seen Kehlani speak up for all types of human LGBTQ rights. Like, you know, I've seen Kehlani speak up and just genuinely look to be interested to make the world a better place. That's just what I've seen, right? But we have this artist who has historically spoken up for human rights and bringing people together in a peaceful way, being penalized, but not just penalized, being mislabeled as anti-Semitic, which comes with a whole other set of issues. And she makes an excellent point when she says, hey, if you want to cancel me from the opportunity, she says, do it. But do it because of your support for Zionism. Like, stand on it. Say, hey, we're canceling this because she's anti-Zionism. Like, she's like, stand on it. Like, call it for what it is. If you want to cancel me from opportunity, stand on it because of your Zionism. Don't make it anti-Jew. Don't call me anti-Semitic. Don't mislabel it as something else. And she's 100% right. But those are just my thoughts. We could talk about it in the comments. But y'all know me, man. I'm all about respect. We could see things differently. We could disagree on things. Be respectful. If you're disrespectful, you're not going to get a response from me. All right? Till next time. Peace.